Hey everybody, so I know some of you guys recognize me, some of you don't. I just want to say hey to everybody out there. I had a lot of questions, a lot of interest on hammock camping. Keep in mind this is not a gear test or gear review, but it's more of a hammock camping type of review. So there's a lot of brands out there that are really great. It's up to you to choose which one you like the best. I had two rigs. I'm going to show both of those to you. And this one is my summer rig, or actually my winter rig. All right, so let's take a peek at it. It's an ENO single nest. Double nests are great, but they have a lot of extra material. And if you put a ridge line in it, like I do, and this ridge line, what it does is it keeps the bend in the hammock just where I like it. So if you have a double nest, you put that ridge line in it, you tend to have a ridge right through the middle of your hammock. So I've tried it both ways. This is the way that worked for me. Keep in mind, this is what worked for me. I'm not an expert. I don't work for the companies, but I'll tell you my experience, and hopefully maybe you'll get a few tips out of it. So first of all, what I did is, I've been a long time hammocker, but when it came down to actually backpacking, I wanted to lighten up a little bit. So what I did is I got these webbing straps. They're called tree huggers. Something I didn't use before my trip. I just used Atlas straps, but that had a lot of extra material in it. What I did then is I put a continuous loop on the end, so I could just thread a whoopee sling through it. And the whoopee sling is super lightweight, really strong. It's like 11 braids of 11 strands of braid. I ran it through. What you do is you run it through kind of like those Chinese finger traps. You run your string through it, and when you put the weight down on here, the friction keeps that knot nice and tight. If you continue to follow it down, you'll see I have a little hook on here. I'm going to go over to the light side. I'm trying to rush because, as you can see, the sun is setting. So right here, you see the little hook. Now I put continuous loops on the end of my hammocks also. So what I did is I took this continual loop, put it through my hook here, and it holds it nice and tight. As you can see on this side of the tree, the whoopee sling goes up, wraps around my tree hugger. Now, the reason I like this for my winter setup is, first of all, there's no bugs, so you don't need a net. A lot of the hammocks come with integrated nets. I'll show you my summer setup in a little bit. But I like this because it's open. The reason that's so nice is that if you're in and out of the hammock, you know, maybe you have to go to the little boy's tree in the middle of the night. Maybe you want to snack on something, get a drink. You can just reach out into your bag or whatever and grab whatever you need. Now in the winter, there's no insulation in these hammocks. So what I did is I got what's called an under quilt. You hammockers are familiar with these. As you can see, it's almost like a sleeping bag. This one's made with synthetic materials. It's got a rating up to about 30 degrees. And what it does is it just kind of hangs underneath the hammock. It's all made with elastic bands, which I just snap onto my hook here. And it just kind of rests under you. So it's never tight, it's always loose. That gives a lot of room for air. Once your body heats up the air inside the fibers and stuff, it keeps you warm. The biggest thing with hammocks is that if there's a slight breeze, you can feel it right through the hammock. These are just real thin nylon material, and without this, that cold weather camping is tough. Even though I said it's rated for 30 degrees, there were several nights that were in the low 20s, and I was comfy as can be. Now here's the thing. I did use a sleeping bag. This sleeping bag is a I forget, a Kelty. It's rated to 16 degrees, and it's got down in it, but it's called dry down. Dry down's been treated to keep the water from affecting the fibers of the down itself. Now this is important. Hammock sleepers, pay attention. You don't get in the sleeping bag. You just kind of put it over you. You put your feet in the foot box and just kind of keep it over you like a quilt. And this way your body heat can get down to the under quilt, warm that up, warm up all the air in there, and your body's heating the material in sleeping bag above, and between the two, it's locking all the heat. If you sleep on top of your sleeping bag, you're going to limit a lot of that body heat going down into the underquilt, and believe it or not, you may find yourself colder than if you just slept outside of your sleeping bag. So I know it doesn't sound right, the physics don't seem right, but trust me, I'm not a professional, but I got a little experience in this. This may be my biggest, most favorite piece of equipment on the trail. It's my pillow. What I did is I took a microfiber towel. You can see I cut it. I had my mom stitch it up into a bag, put a string on it. I take my string and I tie it to my ridge line. This way, if my hammock, my pillow falls out in the middle of the night, it never hits the dirty ground. I also use that as a towel. It's original intended use, and I use it for a bag to go to the laundromat when I'm in town. So probably the most used piece of equipment that I carried with me the whole 2,189 miles. Right now, what I have in it, and which I used through the whole trip, is my puffy, or poofy. It's Arc'teryx lightweight parka, and I never slept with it because my rig was always warm enough, and I used it every single night of my entire trip as a pillow. And then I'd get up in the morning, take it out, put it on, and pack up my camp. Now this is a Hennessy tarp, and when I set up my camp, and the reason, and for purposes of showing you my camp, I usually set it up between the trees, adjust my tarp to where I want it. Now I know, because practice, I know that if I hook my hooks to these little strings dangling off this, I put a little knot here. If I hook my strings to that on both sides, my whoopee swing, the strings I'm talking about, then I know when I go to hook up my hammock, it's going to be spaced just right. When I do that, I know I have about 2 inches on each side, and it pretty much centers it. Now the beauty of a whoopee sling is that you can raise and lower your hammock, or slide it to the left or slide it to the right, depending on what you need, with ease. You don't have to take anything apart. You can just do it with that Chinese finger thing I told you about, finger trap. All right. Usually, if the weather's bad, I'll slide my hammock up to one side or the other, depending on which way the direction of the rain. So if the rain's coming in from this direction, I might slide my whole hammock up a little bit that way, and that gives me a couple inches more protection. But as you can see, this is a Hennessy hex tarp. It's plenty big for this ENO hammock. I think the ENO hammock is like 9 feet. The Hennessy hammock, ironically, is a little bit longer and doesn't fit underneath the Hennessy tarp as well. It still did a great job, but it didn't give you any kind of a cushion to move it back and forth. What I did too is that if the weather was really nice, I would use my tarp more or less just as a roof to keep the dew off me. I would use my tent stakes, my hiking poles, and then keep this end of the tarp up nice and high. If it was really nice, I might not even use the tarp, but in the early mornings, the dew does get everything wet. So a lot of times, if it wasn't real dry, I would always put my tarp up, always. And the other thing is even if I didn't plan on using the tarp, I would string it up, leave it all wrapped up, and then in the middle of the night, if we had a storm or shower, I would just open it up and just string it up. As you can see, right here is the string to the tarp. I rarely use tent stakes. It's just a pain in the butt. You got to clean them every morning. You got to put them back in your pack. You got to dig them out. I found that it was pretty easy to find a lot of rocks on the trail, even if I had to walk a few yards to get them. And I would just wrap them up. I didn't even tie any knots, just wrap them up 3 or 4 times, put them on the ground. And another advantage of that is that it's so easy to adjust. So this would be a typical angle. I don't know if you can see, it's getting a little dark. That's a typical angle I would leave it on a cool breezy night. And I know I don't have a cameraman, so bear with me. Those of you who watch my videos know I'm not a photographer. And that's basically what it would look like strung out. Underneath the tarp, you can see I have a piece of plastic. And that's basically what I would do every night. I would take, some people are going to scoff at me, but I didn't hang my food bag very often. The times that I would hang my food bag was around shelters or around other campers who were hanging their food bag. I did it basically out of courtesy to them, help them feel better or whatever. But I will tell you this, I never had a problem taking my food bag, stuffing it inside my pack. I always had a trash compactor bag in there, cinched up my bag, and then I'd snap up my whole backpack and I would put it right underneath my hammock, directly below me. Wow, that sun really moved out. I also had my shoes so I could just get right in and out of my tarp, go to the bathroom, adjust my lines if I had to, for whatever purposes. I always kept my bottle right here so I could just grab it, take a sip, put it right back. It was within reach, arm reach. This piece of plastic, believe it or not, I found that early in the hike. Pre Smoky Mountain. Somebody had dumped it in the shelter and just left it. I guess they didn't want to carry it. I took it and I used it for a ground cloth for the entire trail. I had a Tyvek to start out with. It was a little smaller. I traded Dusty for dibs on this one, and I use that every single day as well. So that's my winter setup. ENO hammock, ENO underquilt. The reason I bought this underquilt is that I was spending a lot of money on gear, and this one was pretty inexpensive. I had never used one before, and I wasn't even sure I was going to like it. So I bought that, and let me tell you something. It is awesome. I'll never be without one again. And so that is my winter setup. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. If you haven't, I also documented my whole trip on YouTube. Feel free to check into that, Sam I Am Appalachian Trail or Sam Ducharme, and I'll be right back with my summer setup. Okay, so that was a little idea how I set this up every night. I'm just using some sticks and twigs right now, but as you can see, well, you really can't see, I guess the sun is wrong, but that's my summer setup. And of course, the obvious difference between the summer setup and the winter setup is the integrated bug screen that's on the hammock. And of course, that's critical out there. If not, you're going to be using a lot of DEET. And I don't know about you, but when I spray that stuff all over my legs and arms and stuff, I don't sleep very well. Now, the big difference between this rig and my winter rig is that I didn't use my underquilt. Now, there are times where it got a little chilly, and that's the one time when I would step outside the box. And if you saw my videos, you saw this tied onto the back of my hammock. The back of my backpack. And this is what it was for. First of all, as you can see, it's short. I cut a couple sections off for a seat pad, and as that wore out, I cut another couple sections off. And this is what I was left with. On the real cold nights, because you're up there in elevation, some of those parts. We were at Killington, and it got into the 40s in August, so this stops the chill from coming up from below, especially that night. It was very windy. The other big important part about this is the sleeping bag. Now, this sleeping bag packs up to nothing. and it's only rated for about 30 degrees or maybe even 40 degrees, I don't know, but it's a north face, and I use that as a blanket as well, and worked pretty well. So those are the only differences for my winter and my summer setup. As you can see, all my whoopee slings are actually I use the same whoopee slings. I brought spares in case I ever wore them out, but I didn't. Never broke one. Simply, if you're worried about tying knots, I don't even know if that's an actual knot, but I use the same twisted knot every time, and worked good. This is not as comfortable as the ENO. It just sits weird or whatever, and it said it's made so you can sit sideways. It's a Hennessy, but really I didn't find that to be very comfortable that way. And however, it served the purpose. It has a ridge line. It's even got a little bag in there that I could put my Snickers or whatever I wanted, my phone, my iPod, and it worked well for me. These things are called snake skins, and when you pack up, you can just pull these over, and they are convenient. And when you do throw your tarp or your hammock in the bag, this keeps some dirt off it if you have to throw it around on the ground or whatever. Repack your bag. A little extra work, a little extra weight, but I found that it was no problem. So that's my summer gear. I showed you the winter gear a few minutes ago, and if you have any questions, I'll probably be more specific on my gear video. I just wanted to show you guys what I used for my whole trip, and there are, like I said, much better setups, or depending on how you like them, what you're looking for, there are other setups that you might find better, but this was fine for me, and I would use it again if I was to head out right now. So listen, Sam I am, giving you my hammock camping review. Questions, comments, feel free to put them on there. Share this with your other friends, and I'm out. I'm trying to be